1. Shock. Volt's shock provides a guaranteed stun to all targets it hits, and it also has an infinite cast range, effectively allowing you to stun an enemy across the map. This can be highly useful when a friend of yours is facing a crowd of enemies and needs help. Much like Vauban's abilities, shock does not interrupt Volt's firing or reloading, meaning that you never lose access to an infinite range stun and can chain to nearby enemies, unless you're knocked down, of course. 2. Electric shield. Honestly, electric shield behaves more like a wall than a shield, because while it does stop bullets, it does little to protect you from rockets if you're standing too close. Electric shield is based on duration rather than health, meaning that if you build for power efficiency, you can basically spam infinite walls everywhere, which can be a big help on mobile defense. In addition, any shots you fire through electric shield deal 50% additional electric damage, and crits are multiplied by 200%. Simply put, take a high crit weapon with you in a vault for abnormally high damage output. 3. Speed. If you didn't notice, not only does speed make Vault a pretty good frame to speedrun with besides Nezha, but speed also increases melee attack speed. Throw in a Berserker mod and a Nariman focus tree, and you have a recipe for a ridiculously strong melee build. 4. Sanic speed builds. Five. What his prime suggests. Let me explain this one. The original Volt has a base armor of 15, which translates to about 5% damage reduction to health. That's pretty shit, right? Now, Volt Prime has 85 additional armor, bringing him to a total of 100 armor, which is 25% damage reduction to health. 85 is the highest amount of additional armor given to a Prime variant of a Warframe, but this has been done 3 times. Besides Volt Prime, Ash Prime and Rhino Prime also have 85 additional armor compared to their original versions. However, even though they all received the exact same amount of additional armor, Volt is different because of his popularity. Prior to being primed, Rhino and Ash were a fairly common sight in the game, but not Volt. Volt has always been that one frame who needs rework, is totally bad, etc. Really, before Volt Prime existed, the only time you saw Volt multiple times was when the Volt main populace was out of hibernation. What do I mean by all of this? Volt Prime's vast improvements over the original counterpart made Volt as a whole spike in popularity, as with any Prime release, but more than usual. Why? Because Volt was seen as a bad frame. It was odd that a frame so bad as Volt was being primed when other frames like Hydroid could use the priming more. Since Volt Prime's been released, the amount of please rework Volt threads have culminated so much that DE has finally said that they will reveal the much-awaited Volt rework in the next dev stream. So why is Volt Prime awesome? Because he's a living example that underplayed frames have hope when it comes to developer attention. Thank you for watching.